Hi guys, this is Mary. Welcome back to Cardz TV. I've had an idea kind of kicking around in my head for the past couple of days for a card I wanted to make for Valentine's Day. And I think I've finally got it figured out. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We'll be using the Cricut Light cartridge, Hoot and Holler, which is a really cute one. So you know our card's going to have an owl on it. And we'll use 2 of my Cardz TV stamp sets. We'll be using For the Birds, and this has got lots of little sentiments on here for owls and birds and things. But we'll be using Owl Always Love You. And from the Happy Days stamp set, we'll be using Happy Valentine's Day on the inside of our card. Now, we'll have some craft cardstock and some brown, and we're going to use some red and green. We'll be using my new Tim Holtz wood grain embossing folder. I love this. And for our pattern papers, we'll be using this Recollections 6x6 paper pad called With Love, and this came from Michaels. We'll also be using an EK Success circle punch, and this is a 2 1/4 inch punch. For our card base, we'll be using some craft cardstock, and I've cut this at 5.5 by 8.5, and this will make an A2 size card. So we're going to score it at 4 1/4 and get a nice sharp crease. And here's our card base. Now, to go on top of the craft card base, I've cut a piece of this rich brown cardstock, and this is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I took that 2 1/4 inch circle punch and just came in as far as it would go from the top, and I made sure that, you know, it was spaced evenly and punched out that 2 1/4 inch circle. And then I ran it through that Tim Holtz wood grain embossing folder, and it looks just like a tree trunk, guys. I hope you can see that. Now this is going on the front, and I've got this on 2 thicknesses of foam tape. But before I adhere this down, I'm going to take a pencil and just put a little mark in 4 places, because I'm going to stamp my sentiment inside, or it's going to show on the inside. This is like a little frame, a little tree trunk frame, but it'd be really hard to stamp it with this on here. Okay, we're going to stamp on this mouse pad, and I've got my stamp on my Martha Stewart stamp press. And let's get it inked up, and I want to get this centered right between my pencil marks. Perfect. Now I'm going to take the eraser and get rid of these pencil lines, and then we'll put our brown mat on top. Now I've got this brown mat on 2 thicknesses of foam tape, and yes, I did put a lot, but there's going to be some things on the outside of this mat, and I don't want the mat sinking in. I want it to have plenty of support underneath from the foam tape. Okay, we're going to line this up so that it's spaced evenly all around. And there's our little tree trunk frame. Now, wait till you see what's going on here. It's so cute. Now, I want to add a little bit more color inside of my circle to really make that sentiment pop. So, I've taken a piece of this red cardstock, and I've got a 2 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to go in here and cut out a 2 inch circle, but I'm not going to use that circle. Then I'm going to take the 2 1/4 inch circle punch and line that up, and this is going to make me like a little circular frame to go inside. And I'm going to get my 2-way glue pen and put that down in there, and you can see how that really makes that sentiment pop now. So let me go get my two-way glue pen and get this in, and then I'll show you what else we're going to put on here. Well, I did a little bit more than get my two-way glue pen, didn't I? Yes, I did take the two-way glue pen, and I've got that little red frame down in there, and it's adhered. And then I took the Hoot and Holler cartridge and found some little hearts, and they're in the second column, and they're the very last cuts in that second column. Now, I used this one mostly, and I've cut, let's see, how many have I got? 4. I cut this one at 1.5 inches. This one is at 1.25 inches. This one's at 1 inch, and then this little red and white polka dot one is at 3/4 of an inch. And to get that heart, you would just hit that key and then layer, and it would cut those out. And I took my white gel pen and did some stitching around those little hearts, as well as around the card. Don't know if you can see that, but that really makes that brown paper stand out, I think. Now, to go down here on the bottom half of the card front, look what I found in Hoot and Holler. Is that not the cutest thing? What a cute little owl, and he's going right here. And I've got him on 1 thickness of foam tape. And you'll find that little owl also in the second column, and it's the 6th image down. And I cut the first cut, the background, out of green, and that gives you your green leaves. The next cut is the brown, which gives you your nose for your owl and the tree branch and the little veins in the leaves. And then this, I used the red and white polka dot to cut the little owl. I didn't cut the eyes because I knew I was going to use some Google eyes. And this little owl was cut at 3 inches. And he's going right there. And did I tell you he's on 1 thickness of foam tape? I just love that. I think that's so cute. Well, let me get this adhered down, and then we'll do the inside. Okay, he's all adhered down, and we'll do the inside, and we're keeping it pretty simple. I cut mat out of that same red and white polka dot, and it's at 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Then my white sentiment mat is 3 by 4. That's going right there. And then I used that same heart, only this time I cut the first one out, and I cut this heart at 2.5 inches, and I also put some stitching around it with my white gel pen, and I stamped it with that Happy Days stamp, Happy Valentine's Day, and it's on a little banner. Just stuck that across there, and this is on 1 thickness of foam tape, and that's going to go right down there. Pretty simple. And then you've got plenty of room to write another sentiment and sign your name. So I'm going to get this stuck down, and we'll come back and take a look at our finished card. Here's the finished card, and y'all, I am so tickled with how this turned out. I just think it's so cute. There's our little owl with his Google eyes. And here's the inside, Happy Valentine's Day. And I was looking at the For the Birds stamp set, and I've got to make some birthday cards for this month. And I'm thinking, down here it's Who's Having a Birthday. I think I could stamp that in there. And then on the inside, instead of Happy Valentine's Day, I could do Happy Birthday. I think I'm going to do that, because this was a very simple card to put together, but I think it turned out really cute. Thanks so much for watching today, guys, and I appreciate all the comments you leave. It just makes my day. Thanks again. I'll see you again soon. Bye now.